my name and address?
Yes,
For the
please.
record, yes.
Yes. Excellent. My name is Hugh Giordano, 57 Argyle, Blackwood, New Jersey. Council, I'm coming today as a representative of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW, Local 152. The UFCW is a national labor union with 1.3 million hardworking families in our union. And we represent a wide array of workers from manufacturing, warehouse, transportation, retail, and we also are fortunate to be the official labor union, which represents cannabis workers, both medical and adult use from seed to sale, under the guise of the AFL-CIO. We are also working with our building trades partners in regards to the build out and retrofit of facilities. IBEW, carpenters, steam fitters, all those union members are working in the cannabis industry as well as far as building out the facilities. We want to say that the UFCW opposes this ban because it hurts jobs. New Jersey has the best labor law in the country in regards to labor cannabis workers. These workers are going to be unionized. They're going to have living wage, health care, sick time, vacation time, paternity leave, and most of all, a voice on the job. It's going to be a career. These jobs are also highly educated. We're working specifically with Stockton University as well. These are folks that have chemistry degrees, botany, horticulture. These are educated careers. We would also say that this directly impacts patients' rights as well because it hurts their availability to cannabis. So what I would suggest is two things. One, to visit the Garden State Dispensary, which was one of the original 6 dispensaries in New Jersey under the Chris Christie administration, and is also was the first to unionize with us, and they're very transparent and they always allow visitors. So I can take you on a tour there from seed to sale so you can see. And the second thing that I would ask is that you look at the Bayonne, City of Bayonne ordinance. They have a merit-based system. You have a lot of power and control of how you allow people in. The League of Municipalities puts a lot of fear factor out there. And the reality of it is it's not true. Cities and towns that put the time and effort in, like Bayonne, came up with a way of allowing and deciding who they want and how they want them to be in their city or town. So I would suggest tabling this and taking the time a week to look into the city of Bayonne and figure it out and take a tour. Once again, we ask that you please table and the UFCW does not support this ban. Thank you.
Nothing regarding the cannabis is on this evening's agenda.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Giordano. This is Kyle Weinberg, solicitor. Jackie, if I see there's more hands raised with respect to public comment. If those people could wait until the regular agenda and the consent agenda is addressed, there's a public portion for comment after the fact. So if your comments are not related to anything on the consent agenda right now, we just ask that you wait until the public comment section. Thank you.
I apologize for that. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's not a big deal, but I see more hands raised. So if they're not, we'll get to you eventually. Thanks.
Okay. Does anybody else have an actual comment regarding the consent agenda? There. The 2 separate ordinances were introduced at the last meeting. The one ordinance will be on next week's agenda for public hearing, and then the 2021-03 will be on the the June 8th meeting for its public hearing.
Yes, sir. So our next meeting will the ordinance with respect to the smoking marijuana in public areas, that'll be up for public discussion next meeting. The following meeting will be the prohibited uses one, okay, with the licenses. It would be in public areas, yes. It would be with respect to all marijuana. All right, yep.
Anyone else? Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Motion, Matalucci.
Turner, second.
Mr. Bernard Fallon,
Yes.
Mr. Germanio, Mr. Germanio,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Matalucci.
Yes.
Now we're moving on to our regular agenda. And this evening, I need a motion to authorize the payment of bills, providing that proper vouchers have been filed and the funds are available.
Turner, motion.
Germanio, second.
Mr. Bernard Fallon,
Yes.
Mr. Germanio,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Matalucci.
Yes.
This evening, we have some administrative reports on the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the administrative reports?
Motion, Matalucci.
Oh shoot! You couldn't even hear me talk.
Second,
Damn it! I
Mario.
didn't set my mic up.
Germanio.
Mr. Bernard Fallon,
I didn't set my mic up.
Yes.
Mr. Germanio,
I was live on the
Yes.
meeting. You couldn't hear me here though.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Awful.
Mr. Matalucci.
Yes.
This evening, does the
They
municipal
are,
engineer,
Turn this
Mr.
off.
Fralinger,
They
have
are
anything
banning
to say?
the use of medical cannabis in dentists. They're banning the use. Let me repeat myself. They're banning the use of medical cannabis. Here, wait. Look at me. Did you hear what I said? I said they're banning the use of medical cannabis in Dennis Township. They are banning the use in public right-of-ways. That's not what Kuma says. Kuma says wherever you can smoke tobacco, you can smoke cannabis. Not in Dennis. You will be fined $200, and they may even put you in a wheelchair. I mean, put your wheelchair in handcuffs. So we will be speaking in Dennis tonight at the public portion coming up soon. And then we're going to jump around to a few places tonight. Tom's River's in person, so we're going to jump to Raritan at 6:30. Bernardsville is in person, so we're going to jump to maybe Livingston for the cannabis meeting, but definitely Old Bridge at 7:30. So, he was speaking again. Hold on.
Comment right now. I would appreciate that. And please ask the council to consider what those comments and also reach out to the UFCW. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Did Mr. Grimes have something at this time? Is he still with us?
There's two other hands raised, Jackie.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to take one of those or Jess.
Do you need to unmute them, Jess, or?
No, they can unmute themselves. So if Jamie wants to start, we'll go with her next, and then there's an R on there with the hand raised. We'll go to that person second.
Hi, yes, good evening. My name is Jamie Van Sciver. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a nonprofit advocating for medical cannabis rights and accessibility for disabled individuals. I'm kind of concerned about the ordinance banning public consumption. Recreational users are not permitted public consumption as New Jersey state law. So I'm not really sure about like what your ordinance in attempt to like double down. I'm not sure if you're trying to control any medical cannabis patients from being able to use their medicine. It's concerning to me. And over 67%, I'm sorry, of your constituents voted for recreational cannabis. I don't think they voted for that and wanted to travel, far away to be able to utilize something that's legal in their state. And I also ask you that if you do proceed with your ordinance banning, that you please consider the language that you're using. You're banning all classes of any cannabis business. And I don't know if that means medical as well. There's people that have chronic illness and chronic pain that rely on this medication and they need better access to it. It's helping with cancer, seizure disorders, immune illnesses, PTSD. There's veterans in your community that need access to this. They don't need pharmaceuticals, they don't need antidepressants. SSRIs make people want to kill themselves and increase suicidal desires. We've really got to do better. And I hope you will educate yourself and at least acknowledge the medicinal value. I don't know why you would want to take that out of the hands of the people in your community that need healing. There's pharmacies there. There's lots of those. Did you like vote on them? Did you like ban them? All the fentanyl and Oxycontin and Percocet that is killing everybody, that is making your Narcan count use go up. Cannabis has never killed a single person. It has a lot of medicinal value. And I hope that if you're going to be making decisions for an entire community, people, veterans with PTSD, people with chronic illness and chronic pain, that you please educate yourself and stop stigmatizing the medicinal value. Stop stigmatizing something that your constituents voted for that you were refusing to even educate and listen to. Thanks for your time.
We have R next with a hand raised.
Yes, hello, my name is Marina Redman. I'm a medical marijuana patient. I take it for PTSD and for cancer. My PTSD started when I was really young. Between the ages of 1 and 4.5, I had to have a bunch of surgeries on my leg because I was born with a birth defect. And back then, the parents weren't allowed to stay over in the hospital. I was in a big, huge, scary New York City hospital, major hospital. And yes, rules were different back then. You couldn't stay over with your child. So you had to leave your 1, 2, 3, and 4-year-old over. I just wanted my mom or my father to be there. I just wanted my mother to be there with me, and she wasn't allowed to stay over. It was sad. And then being wheeled into the operating room, they do things different now with little kids. You're allowed to walk with them, calm them down, make sure they're going to be, that you're going to reassure them everything's going to be okay. No, I was in an ice cold room with all these scary masks on and everyone saying, it's okay, it's okay. And then all of a sudden I had this, it was horrible. And I saw a lot of things in that hospital, which I'm not gonna, I don't think I have enough time. But then in 2017, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I never smoked marijuana in my life until then. And whenever they're giving the chemo with the other types of medication to not make me get sick, violently vomit, I lost 50 pounds in 3 weeks. It wasn't fun. I couldn't hold anything down until I got my medical marijuana, my medical cannabis. It was a game changer. I was able to live. I was able to do stuff. I was able to walk. I was able to go outside a little bit. And I don't know if anyone here has been on chemo, and I hope and pray to God no one ever is. But it's horrible. It's like you can't move. It's heartbreaking. You have almost 400 CVS's in the state of New Jersey, 280 Walgreens that prescribe all sorts of medications to help people out. Why not have a medical marijuana dispensary? You have 64 psychiatrists in the state of New Jersey that prescribe medical marijuana, and probably some of them are some of the doctors are prescribing medical marijuana to patients in your town. 10 pediatric doctors that prescribe medical marijuana. A pediatric doctor is helping a child, and some towns want to take this away from him, take this away. There was a child who had a 25-hour seizure, and she died. Imagine having a 25-hour seizure. You have internal medicine, oncologists, radiologists, emergency room medical, family practice, neurologists, all and more, all in your county that prescribe this beautiful, helpful medicine that helps people live, that helps people move on. So just please reconsider it. And then people will say, well, take an Uber or Lyft, that costs money. To other towns, we don't have that money. Access Link, and if you're in a wheelchair, you're not going to be able to get in an Uber or Lyft. And then if it's access link, you know what the disabled call it? The wheelchair bound call it access link. Because sometimes you can't even get from A to B. And sometimes even Uber or Lyft won't even drive you there. And what happens if you have a service dog? They're not going to let you in with the service dog instead of an Uber or Lyft. How many times have you heard those things where people were denied because they didn't feel like dealing with somebody who's visually impaired or disabled? So please be open. Thank you very much.
And now are we going to move on to Mr. Grimes?
Good evening, Council. My name is Edward Lefty Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey advocating for disabled rights and cannabis patients' rights. I have a big problem with both your ordinances. The smoking ordinance, I don't get that at all. If you've ever had cancer, when you are throwing up from chemo, are you really worried about getting to a border that the government has made for you to make your life more difficult? They're going to smoke that cannabis wherever they're at. They're not going to worry about your border. And they're going to take that $200 ticket and they're going to fight all the way up to the Supreme Court with it because that's unconstitutional to hurt the sick and the dying. You got to be kidding me. I know there's Christians on this board, and that's not what Christianity is all about. We're supposed to put the last first. And I'm talking specifically medical use, putting the last first, helping the sick and the dying. That's what we should be doing. The most vulnerable of us, the most hurting of us. Why aren't we helping them? Why are you putting obstacles in front of people that are suffering and dying? We need your help. We're getting hit from all sides. We're getting hit from the state with a 7% tax. The towns that are accepting it are giving us a 2% tax, and I call it a wheelchair tax. I call it a cancer tax. I call it a MS tax, multiple sclerosis tax. And we're not getting representation for that taxation. These towns that are giving us this tax are not even wheelchair accessible. So they're taxing the wheelchairs, but not giving us wheelchair accessibility in these towns. We need help. The cannabis we're buying from these huge conglomerates, these billionaires, it's moldy. It's overpriced. And now that we have recreational cannabis, the patients, the people who have been here that they're building this industry on the backs of, we're getting pushed in the back of the line. Those wheelchairs are in the back of the line now. And when they get to the front of that line, they're out of the strains that they need. They're out of the amounts that they need. And it's overpriced. And it's outrageously, if you need FICO, which is fully extract cannabis oil, which I use to get us off opiates myself, because I have a back full of titanium. I have an artificial disc. I have a fusion. I have a 2-level cervical fusion. I used opiates for years. The doctors had me like a zombie. And now I use cannabis, and I don't take any opiates. Why would you deny your townspeople that? Why would you make people in wheelchairs life harder? I ask every council this. I don't expect you to do it, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I want you to spend a day in a wheelchair, and I'll even do it with you. Spend one day in a wheelchair, and you see what it's like to have to live like that. And believe me, after that day, you're going to want to do everything you can for someone who's suffering from a disease or from in a wheelchair, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to make people hurt. We're here to help people. We're here to glorify God and make God happy. And God's not happy when he sees people suffering. 68% of Jesus' miracles were for the disabled. God has a heart for the disabled. And I wish that Dennis Township would also have a heart for the disabled and think about this and maybe table this ordinance till you get more information and you think about the people that are in wheelchairs and think about the last first. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more interested in public comment? Anyone?
Bueller.
Can I have a motion to close public comment?
Bueller.
Motion, Matalucci.
I want to lower my hand here.
Second?
Second, Germania.
I want to lower my hand. There we go. Lower hand. Okay, Jamie, you can lower your hand.
Moving on to committee comment.
Okay, I think we need
Mr. Bernard-Stalin?
any comments from the council? No? Maybe? Oh, maybe.
A couple things.
Oh, maybe. Uh-huh.
Baseball and softball are in full swing right now.
No, we're going right.
at the rec,
Nope,
and
just
summer
moving right
basketball
along.
sign-ups went live
You just
today,
talked
I
about those
believe.
people
Very
sick and
festive.
dying people. Yeah. Well, let's move on to some baseball now.
So,
Let's talk about happy
be on the
things
lookout
like
for
baseball and apple pie. Yeehaw!
And,
Sorry about your wheelchair. Sorry about your luck. Good.
A lot of kids sign up for camp.
Sorry about your cancer. Baseball though. Apple pie. Good.
On that probably next meeting.
Good stuff.
So that is all. Thank you.
Sorry about your multiple sclerosis and your the ban on smoking. Sorry you got to suffer more, and Dennis. Sorry, Dennis makes you suffer more. We're moving right along.
And I have noticed that
All right, so where are we going next? Tom's River we can't actually go to. Hurtful. Raritan is at 6:30, so I guess I'm gonna sign off and come back for Raritan at 6:30, and then Old Bridge at 7:30. So we got a busy night, and if you're in the Tom's River area, go to Tom's River. Stop in the Tom's River Council and speak your mind. You have time. And Bernards Township, the same thing. If you are in Bernards, excuse me. If you're in Bernards, go to Bernards, man. Go up there and speak your mind. Do it. Don't burp like that. Just go and speak your mind. But if you feel a burp come on, hey, maybe they deserve it. They probably do deserve it. Dennis definitely deserved that burp. I should have burped first. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. See you all at 6:30. Peace out, everybody. Okay. Oh, I got to hit that button. Oh, I got gas. Oh. All right. Let's stop this one. And we'll see you in a few.